I'm going to talk to you guys about what makes one house more expensive than another house when you're doing an estimate. A lot of guys just figure out by the square foot what size, what the house is like. And this is a good example here of a house that should be a lot more per square foot if you're figuring out by square foot. We don't figure out by the square foot, we figure out by the man-day, so that way you're never wrong. But we also do square foot, we compare the two, and then sometimes there's additional pricing you can figure. And of course, when you're in a more expensive neighborhood, the price per square foot is going to be higher than in a cheap neighborhood, because it's just the way it is. It's just like real estate. So, but you don't, you guys who are mining for gold, you don't just run around, look in the garage and go, hey man, they got a Mercedes so they can afford this. That's not the way you bid stuff. Okay, that's mining for gold. We don't do that, and I don't recommend anybody do that. So this customer here wants their house changed from this dark brown, reddish brown here to a white trim. So now you've got to paint all the trim twice, or you got to put it on really heavy and cross spray it and make sure that it's completely covered. So it's going to take, either you're going to mask them off, you're going to brush and roll them twice. Much easier to mask them off and spray when you have two coats. So look at this kind of trim here. When you have all this trim here like this, let's walk around. I'll show you why a house like this would be much more expensive. The shutters are a different color, so that's an additional color. More time, more colors, more work. So stuff like, you've got all this detail. You've got two coats on all these trim pieces. You've got, walls all the way around the property. We got walls here. Got walls here. Let's take a look over here. Over here on this side, there's walls all the way up to paint, all the way around. Some stucco repair on those. And of course, the condition, if it was in really bad shape, that would even be more expensive. You got a gate to paint here. Got walls all the way around. Got a second tier wall right here. You've got doors here. You've got a lot of trim that has double tier trim. Shutters in the back of the house. Okay. These are the types of things that you look at. Got a shed that's additional. It's a very narrow area. There's a lot of stuff to move in here. This type of thing. You've got trim around every window all the way around. Let's take a look around here. Got a lot of obstacles. You got a narrow hallway, so you have to work around drying time on paint for these things. You've got another wall all the way along here, this whole side. So you got a barbecue you're gonna have to paint. You've got all this wall trim and all the way around the whole house. Let's take a look around. You've got a wall there. We're not painting the fence, but the reason I'm showing you this is you guys who bid by the square foot and you just figure, hey, so much per square foot, you're not going to be right when you go to bid this house like this. So you got stuff like, you got obstacles. You got a narrow area here with the pool to get up to that area, so you don't have a lot of room for your ladder. It's going to take you more time. You got pool equipment to work around and stuff like this. And in this house in particular, you got the wall here, and the wall has little lights in it, so you got to go around all those things. You got to mask them or cover them, or brush around them, and you got a major color change. Because if you look at the old color, let's take a look here. Look at the old color here. Major color change. So those are the types of things that you need to address when you're looking at a house to bid. Another thing, when you look at things like this, see all these plants here? You have to ladder this wall with plants all over the place. That means it's going to take you a lot of time working your ladder, working your line, going through all this stuff. Some of you guys that have to cover everything, you're going to, you don't see any overspray on my plants. Okay, we don't do that, and we didn't have to cover them. So if you learn the techniques I show you guys, there's a way to do it without having to waste the earth and put more plastic out there and stuff like that. So you got all these obstacles in your way. All that stuff takes time. So if you don't figure that stuff into your pricing, then when you get to the end of the job, you're going to be going, man, I got to figure out how I'm going to charge them extra for something. So what you end up doing is you end up opposing somebody because you told them one price and you switch to something else. And that's what most guys do. So you don't want to be that guy. That's not the way to do it right. All right. So, and stuff like this, that is weird. Why the hell did they do that? That's all going to be one color. Just racing stripe down the middle there. It's a joke. So anyway, that's the type of things that make one house a lot more expensive than another. Talk to you in the next video.